All right. Good evening. It is February 24th, 7 p.m. I'd like to call to order the hearing on town meeting warning. And first order of business would be to solicit questions from the public on, there's 3 articles that are going to be an Australian ballot that if anybody has any questions, the first one is approving the sum of $21,245 to the cemetery maintenance budget. And 16 is approving the sum of $403,313 to the general fund. And the Article 17 is to approve the $556,215 budget for the highway fund. Are there questions from the audience, or I don't know if anybody is online?
We do have one person, Anthony James, I think.
Pardon me?
Anthony James is online.
Okay. Are there any questions on those items from anybody? And also, there are several positions to be elected by Australian ballot that are open. The Cemetery Commissioner, a 3-year term. First Constable, a 1-year term. Lister, 3-year term. 2 Select Board members, a 1-year term and a 3-year term. Auditor, 2 years remaining of a 3-year term. What is that?
That is a vacancy.
A vacancy, okay. And Town Treasurer, a 3-year term. A Delinquent Tax Collector, 1-year term. Second Constable, 1-year term. Auditor, a 3-year term. A Select Board member, 1-year term. Town Moderator, 1-year term. And Town Clerk, 3-year term. Those are the open that will be on the Australian ballot on a week from tomorrow, Tuesday. Any questions on any of those from anybody? So I think, do I have a motion to close our?
Motion to adjourn the public hearing?
Do I have a second? All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
All right. Now I'd like to open our business meeting for the Select Board for the town of Sunderland. And the first order of business, let me get I got so many papers here that, where did I put my agenda for today? Here we go. Thank you. Anyway, so introducing the board members, we have Todd Lawrence to my far left, Marty Nadler to my immediate left, Bruce Madison to my right, and Andrew McKeever to my far right. I'm Dixie Zenz, the chair. We have Brian Holly from the Arlington Fire Department, Fire Chief. Welcome, and I'm not sure, I forget.
Vince Thompson.
Ben Thompson.
Assistant.
Okay, great, from the fire department. Rob Zeef is not here. Not sure he's going to make it tonight. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from February 10th?
So moved.
Do I have any changes, questions, additions, corrections on those minutes? Okay, then all in favor of accepting the minutes as written, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, good. So we open up to public comment. We have public comment. We have a quiet crowd today. So I'll get right into special projects funds. We will be talking about the Arlington Fire Department swing down standpipes and some equipment. Brian, would you like to just get up and give a little brief on?
So I want to thank the board for allowing us to come in and speak with you tonight. So I gave you some packets. I know it's a lot, but the first one is from Troy Dare. That's the grant funding through Vermont Rural Fire Protection Structures. So how the grant works is it's a 75-25. So the state will pay 75%, the towns are 25%. Up to, let me look here, it goes up to 20,000, so you can do 2 sites, so 10,000 a site. The sites that we proposed to you were the Sunderland, the Hill Farm Bridge, and the Sunderland Hill up by the dump. So those 2 right there are last year were around anywhere from 5,500 to 6,500. One of them was 6,000 to 65, and 5,500 to 6,000 was the Hill Farm Bridge. These prices, they didn't go back to relook at them this year until they come back out, look at the site, make sure it hasn't changed, you know, with flooding or any of that. The Hill Farm Bridge is a little bit more expensive because of the amount that it takes, the way the bridge is. A couple questions that Troy had was, you know, being the town bridges, usually we don't have to apply for special funding. So the other bridge that we were trying for in Arlington was on a state road, so we had to try to get them to permit it. So it's a little bit different process. He's willing to come out, or we can contact him. I did leave you one application up there that shows how the application works. The deadlines are April 15th, June 15th, and August 15th. So we have a little bit of time to look this over and see how this works. For the 25%, as the town and the fire department, we're responsible for getting the pipe, because it's a long length of pipe, and when the guy comes out through, you know, he doesn't, so we're responsible for going to get the pipe and that kind of stuff. Usually, the road crew, or if you have a construction company that's willing to help out, that all gets added in to the 25%. So I know when we worked in Sandgate, the Sandgate road crew worked with us, we tracked their time, and that was part of the 25% as the town's cost. It's all explained in the thing, so I won't take up too much of your time. The other thing, when we were talking with Marty when I was on the phone, was past Chief King had asked about turnout gear. So we like to buy 5 to 7 sets a year. Last year, we only bought 3 because of the end of the year, what we had left with money. So I got an updated quote as soon as we hung up the phone the other day, and a set of turnout gear. So it's a coat, helmet, bunker pants, gloves, and a hood. That runs us about $4,822 per firefighter is what we pay for turnout gear. It's just a quote that was asked before, and I was asked to re-quote it. If anything, if you guys were able to help us with that, it would be much appreciated. Our turnout gear only lasts 10 years. So every 10 years, we have to get new turnout gear. We do try to stretch some of it for exterior firefighters a little bit longer, but NFPA says anybody who goes inside the burning building, 10 years. So what we try to do is, because we have to wash them after every call, the interior firefighters especially, and then most of our exterior firefighters now do is, when we buy a new set, we try to buy it at the 5-year mark, so that one that's 5 years old becomes your second set, and then you have a new set. So we try to rotate that around every 5 years. So it gets pretty costly, but it's to protect us, to know that we're protected when we're going inside a burning building. So, that quote's there too, like I said. We use, MES for that. It's the Morning Pride dealer that's local to us. So.
Question on the total cost for the swing down
Yep.
pipes for the bridges. You have a total cost, installation, this is the installation, the 5,400 on the,
Yeah,
On
so
the-
this guy, they come out, they install all, so for here, there's really no digging or anything, and that's where, like, the highway crew and that would come in. So the drop down hydrants, they build the bracket, so they'll come out, they refit a bracket, and then they go back if they have to, and they rebuild the bracket to fit whatever type of guardrail system or wherever they're gonna mount it on the bridge. So they do all the mounting and everything, and in there, all the work is completed by a certified protection specialist. So they do all the work. When it's done, on our end, as firefighters, we have to, when they're done with it, we have to be there to flow test it. That's part of our requirements, so when they finish it, we have to be there just to make sure that it flows what they had said when they did it. The only thing that we would have to get is, right here, the client is responsible for supplying one 20-foot length of 6-inch schedule 40 PVC piping. So that'd be on us. So these are last year's quotes, if you read. So depending on the price of, the piping, the metal and that, Troy and his said that it probably won't vary much. He used a nice round number of 8,000, even though he said that these will not hit that number. So it'd be 6,000 for the state and 2,000 for the town, per site, roughly.
so it'd be, our cost was about $4,000.
$4,000.
And so the first thing I'd have to do is sit down with somebody, we'd have to get in the grant, make sure we're gonna get approved for it, and then they come out, and then they'll start doing, to look at the bridge and all that, then they'll go back to build them out, and then they'll come out and install it. So like I said, the grants are due April, June, and August. So, if we don't make the first one, we can try again the second if you so choose, or whatever.
Sooner the better, in my
Yep.
opinion.
Do you know if the state bridge divisions looked at them?
So, I don't know about these two bridges. They are in the state of Vermont. There's one in, I think it was Proctorsville. They had one listed here. I don't think I printed that page. But they did that one. That was the one that we were actually gonna go up, when the weather was a little warmer, they could play around, and they were gonna let us come up and try it out. So they are around locally, so I know that the state has allowed them, but if that's something we have to do, then, we can get a hold of probably Chris Taft down in Bennington, AOT, and get that rolling.
I have one other question. On the safety gear,
Yep.
the town of Sunderland pays $74,000 a year to Arlington Fire. Wouldn't safety be, the suits be part of that? Or you don't actually know where that goes?
Well, so all of that goes to our operating budget, okay? So, the last truck we just bought was, $550,000. So all that goes in through all of that. We set a budget each year on how much we're gonna spend on new equipment, maintenance, training, and all that. And then they break down our budget, and then it gets dispersed through the towns. I know Arlington's is way higher than that, but I don't know, we
Yeah.
just put in our budget how much we wanna do
Yeah.
for new equipment, how much we wanna, are projecting for maintenance, so we have to service our pumps every year. The ladders and all that are every other year, so we figure all that in as chiefs,
I think safety gear would be up there pretty high.
Oh, it is, on top of all the other stuff that we have, so this is just the interior, and we buy wildland firefighting equipment. So that's totally different than your interior equipment. We supply, as far as any of your bag and fill rivers, we supply you with your water rescues. Now we're buying life jackets. So this $4,800 per firefighter is low. The SCBA's are only good for 15 years. Just bought 3 of them. It was just shy of $30,000 for 3 of them.
Wow.
So, this is just a small task of what it cost us
Yeah.
to operate, very small.
How many years do you get a truck?
How many? Our trucks
Yeah.
are 30 years old before they go. Every 30 years. Per truck.
They would like them to be at least 15.
Yeah, we stretch them to 30. Well,
How many do you have?
how many? We have the 3, so we have 1 engine, engine tanker, or 2 engine tankers. We have a heavy rescue, and then we have the old rescue that we still have in service as a drafting truck for us.
Yeah. 6, 7?
So the big trucks, we have 4 with water, 1 without, and then we have a brush truck and a pickup truck.
Nice.
Side by sides with trailers.
So we cover all of the long trail and all that, so, this year through ARPA money in the town of Arlington, we approached them and we bought a brand new side by side and another trailer. Our old one was not given to us, it was a grant through VAS, in 2005. And it still goes, but it was time to upgrade to something a little bit bigger.
Yeah, nice.
Do you get grants on the suits too? No?
So, the funny thing with fire service is, if you have a policy and plan to replacing your turnout gear, you are at the bottom of the list for grants. Because you already have a plan implemented. So, for us, it's not worth the risk of trying to get grants for our safety, when we're going inside a burning building. So we put a plan in risk, that's top priority. That and air packs are the most important things, besides the truck servicing and all that. That's our lives on the line when we go inside.
Yep. Thank you.
Definitely, yeah. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Any other questions?
How many,
Anybody?
sorry,
Go ahead.
how many, I might have missed it, are in the next cycle that are due to be replaced?
So, like I said, we usually try for 5. If we can get 7, then we do 7, but we always try to do 5, so it breaks us up throughout the years.
Okay.
There's about 30 of us in the department that are,
Yeah.
some aren't as active as others. They've, been there for a while, but they still are active. We had the fire in Sandgate, we had 26 of our own members there that day.
Wow.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
We averaged 10 on any daytime, nighttime call. We were all the time. We're pretty fortunate right now. New members coming through the door that you don't ever want to turn down, and we actually had some that had to sit last year and wait for some gear because we were waiting for the new stuff to come in to get some sets back in so that they could have some gear, so.
So is this gear used by anybody, or do you assign it
It's your
to?
personal protective equipment.
So you buy it for a person?
Yep, it gets fitted to you.
Yep.
It's sized, everything's to you.
Great.
It's your responsibility to take care of it. We do gear inspections, but that's your safety.
Yeah, great.
The air packs we do share. The only thing we started this year is, we did buy personalized air masks, something that we haven't done. So if you wore the air mask before and didn't do a very good job cleaning it, and then I took it, we used to do that, and we stopped that this year. You take care of your own mask, you it's yours.
Great.
So after COVID kind of changed quite a bit of stuff where we had to personalize some things. For the side-by-sides and water rescues, all that, we just purchased tactical helmets. So people didn't have to share helmets anymore when we were going in the woods. You know, we had a helmet that might fit his big head, and then the next one might be small, and they're battling, so that doesn't look good. So, sorry, but, so we finally personalized helmets. That's the whole point of PPE.
Absolutely.
Personalized
Yeah,
protective, not
excellent, excellent. Rick?
I just had a quick question, just clarification. So the fire department creates their budget for the next year. They then submit it to the town of Arlington?
Yeah, so
And then they kind of go, do they tweak it, or?
Yes.
And then once they've tweaked it, then it's divided amongst?
Yeah, so, and it's not really divided, it's by your,
Well,
I think it's done by your,
By population,
Yeah.
by population,
Yeah.
so we actually sit down with the town administrator, and, you know, and like this year was kind of pretty much a flat line budget, we didn't change,
Yep.
because we got so much out of ARPA last year to the town of Arlington, we kind of just said, okay, we could probably hold off on some things this year, and we tried to make it flat. A couple things went up and down, some things we have no control over. The one that always hits us is insurance and all that. We never have any control over it, so it plays a big part. We used to do our own budget, and then we'd sit in front of them. Now with the town administrator, you know, we sit in front of him, and then he proposes it, and that's.
So is that something that, and I think this might answer some of Bruce's questions, is that something that the town of Sunderland and Sandgate, do they see the breakdown of the budget, or do they just get your cost is gonna be X amount for the year?
That you'd have to ask the town of Arlington administrator,
I mean, I think that would help them make, you know, see where you're coming from.
Yeah, once we go, you know, sit with Nick and it's done, he takes it to the town, we're not even at them meetings. And then when they come back, they hand us a sheet that says, here's your operating budget, here's what you're rolling with. And like I said, you know, this year we kind of flattened it right out. We didn't raise any.
No, I'm not questioning your budget, I think it's more the.
So I think
inner
if,
the towns.
but I think if the town was gonna do, and this is just me, but if the town was gonna do that, then you'd almost have to divide it. So if each town was gonna control how much, you'd almost have to divide it 3 ways.
No, I'm not saying that, I
Yeah.
think it's just information is, you know, so each town can see how the budget is.
Yeah, I mean, I can ask Nick, that's,
You kind of sending a flat number. You just sending,
Yeah, I mean, it would be good if we saw, you know, your whole budget, you know, and it says that we, you know, it's like 27% of this or whatever that number is, so that we could see the whole budget and we realize we're paying, you know, X% of that total amount.
I don't think there's anybody that's.
No, nobody's arguing.
I can check into,
Appreciate what you do.
I can check into, I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's public knowledge.
Yeah, it's public knowledge, right,
So,
yeah.
I'm sure you can find it anywhere, because, you know, we run under the town of Arlington. They're our boss.
Right.
Yep.
That's who we run under. We do have a fire protection, which is like an association, but as far as members, we run under the town of Arlington. Anything we do, so like for us, we can only spend, it's $1,400. After that, we have to go talk to somebody and get pre-approval, anything above that. $1,400 these days doesn't buy very much.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I will check into that, and then I can, if you send me your contact, or I can have Nick send it to the office here or whatever, but I
That'd be
will
great.
get you an answer.
Well, Brian, Vince, thank you so much. We
Yeah.
really appreciate the work you do and the rest of your department.
Yes.
Thank you,
And
and
thanks.
thank you for the invite in. And if you need anything else, as I told you on the phone, Mary, just call and I'm willing to attend.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay, we'll be in touch. Thank you.
Good to see you, Russ. Especially when it's not 7:30 in the morning. Did you ever find your agenda?
Not yet. It should have been. Did I put it in here? I had it all. I'll find it.
Price of like $17,000.
On in there.
The agenda, you can,
Oh, yeah.
have
This
it on the
is,
computer.
I have it here.
You found it.
I did find mine. It was sitting on my pile right in front of me. All right. We have, the Planning Commission isn't here today, so we are going to swing by that one. And we do have Energy Committee, Andrew, and discussing the MERP grant for the energy improvement. Do you want to talk about the meeting we had today?
Just real quick, so we have two project managers potentially in the mix for managing the MERP grant for the town hall and the town garage. I guess the sense of the Energy Committee's recommendation would be to, there's two of them, one's called Sunderland, it's based in Bennington, another one's PCI, based up in Burlington, and we're kind of leaning towards going with Sunderland, since it's a local company and they're familiar with local contractors from around here. Their estimated price tag is a little bit less than PCI, although there's also some wiggle room in there for special expenses. But basically, all things considered, we thought that Centerline, primarily because it's the local firm, or more local, would be the better project manager to go with for this project. So I guess I'll throw it over to you guys and
Yeah,
if any other questions or.
I did send you both, all
Yep.
the two proposals. And Centerline came in at, just for their basic estimate of $12,865. That was $9,000 for the architecture and project management. Then there was mechanical, electrical, and energy assessment. And this is the design phase, that this isn't doing the work. And that was $1,800. And then a gentleman to do the cost assessment of $1,545. So that came out to the $12,865 for the, basically, getting the project going. Then there's phase two, which is actually running the project. And that could run from, they said from 2,000, those are additional services. There are possible additional services of drawings, if they have to do CAD drawings, special meetings. They want, they said probably on the lower side of the $300 to $800 per meeting. That's to attend a select board meeting and present their stuff. It depends on if they're doing a full presentation or just discussing their proposal. And then applying for permits could be another up to $1,500. Those are additional services. And then on the actual following the finding contractors, presenting them the designs, doing revisions, and checking the work could be $2,500 to $5,000 per building. So outside, I added this up, and outside costs could be $30,000, but they think it's going to be closer to 20. But. So, do I have a motion that we?
If we have a question.
Yep.
Well, you were going to look into the money. Has it been, have we actually got anything? Or the, is it,
We have not,
so,
we don't have money in our bank account right now, no.
so
But the grant has been approved. And obviously, if the money becomes unavailable, we will have to cancel the project for sure. But at this point, as in our last meeting, we, as the select board said, we need to choose a project manager. We had talked about trying to manage it ourselves, but the board's general consensus was to have one of the outside firm do the project management, so.
Do you know if we need money, if we hire them to be the project manager up front, or how does that work?
We don't, I mean, according to BCRC, the funds have been approved. Now, I don't know when funds are approved, how long it takes to get them. I don't know if.
One of those documents, I was under the impression they were coming right away, but then nothing has.
Yeah.
So we can make a motion to approve this pending receipt of the grant funds.
Yeah, you could say contingent upon.
Okay.
Right, contingent upon
Sounds
receipt of
good.
grant funds.
Okay, so that's a motion to accept Centerline with the caveat that we need to receive the funds before we execute this
Right.
contract.
I'll second that.
Okay, any other questions or thoughts, ideas? All right, all in favor of choosing Centerline with, once we receive the funds, we can execute this proposal? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Great. I told them I would call them tomorrow and let them know if they got voted in, but I will also check with Callie at BCRC. Let's see if she can take it out of her bank account and send it to us. Joking. All right, great. Bruce, road liaison.
I haven't really had much time to talk
Yeah.
to Mark lately, but I did call him about the exits, and you can actually see that that's been taken care of.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's, having emergency exits, you can't open the door, it's not a good idea.
And I see that, they've been widening the roads, and looks good.
Yeah, they've done a nice job
And,
with all the ice we've had.
Yeah, I mean, they're really doing a nice job on the roads.
They do.
That's about all I got.
Okay, emergency management, anything brewing on that? Todd?
No, we're just getting to the point of the year we're going to be working on the new formatting for the local emergency management plan. Trying to arrange a meeting with our new Vermont emergency management coordinator to go over all of our stuff and get up to speed with him on, the way they do they've made changes to the plan and what to expect. Let's see, I went to the town of Sandgate on Saturday. They got a emergency management grant through the Vermont Council Foundation. I have to look up the name of it, but they have an 18-month grant to put on like town community events, mostly on emergency management. There's some, little broader subjects. So I went there on Saturday and they talked about flooding, and they had the emergency management director from Londonderry come give a presentation. So it was just good to see what they were doing in Sandgate. There's some, coffee and snacks served, and there's about 35 people there for a town of 300.
Yeah, that's pretty
So
nice.
it was good to see. And then tomorrow I'm going to be meeting with Dara Zink from BCRC just regarding some regional emergency management committee plans. Other than that, all good so far.
Excellent. All right, so under old business, anything under old business? Under new business, we have an applicant to take over our website, seeing that Susan is not, she's been so good to do this for so many years. But Laura Hamler has put a request in to build or keep our website up to date, and that means we have to give her information so she can do that. But we need,
Laura's been in and checked with me a couple of times. I've actually seen her in action on it, and she's very good.
so, seeing that we have, is there anyone else in the audience that is willing to do our website? All right, so,
You want it done badly.
so could I get a motion that Laura Hamler would be hired to do this? The stipend is $200 per month or $2,400 a year to keep our website going. That sounds pretty reasonable to me. So do I have a motion that we hire Laura as our webmaster?
Yeah, I'll make that motion. Oh, Andrew, make it.
Okay,
Well, second or whatever.
okay. All in favor of having Laura?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, opposed? Great. So do I need to sign this?
Yes, finish filling that out, and she's gonna start April 1st. I told her I would finish out all the stuff that's gonna occur from the town meeting.
Okay,
You know, I don't want to inundate her right off the bat. She will probably be out of the country during April, but like we discussed, the fact that it's all through email anyway. You submit all your minutes and agendas to her email wise anyway. She's like, that should be fine. She didn't see any problem in that. So.
Yeah, I have a question, Susan. After the town meeting and the vote the next day, is there a crossover time between you and the new town clerk?
By statute, I have to, take the minutes and finish out the duties of the town meeting. So, I mean, my plan is to finish that week, try to get everything into the system that needs to go in. Because you have to do a lot of reporting to the state, at the elections website, and getting that all done. And then you folks will have a reorganization meeting, that following Monday.
right.
And I would assume that the new town clerk will be there, just as I did, when I came to you folks, and will present who she wants to be as her assistant and whatever other.
Or him.
Yeah. Is there any arrangement for you and the new town clerk to have time together, to hand over, when?
That will be one of the things that if the new town clerk so desires that they will be talking to you guys about.
Okay.
Right.
I don't think you were on the board when Rose left.
No.
So like when I came in, to that reorganization meeting and asked if she could, come and help us, and the board approved a certain amount of time, and a certain arrangement. But that's really up to the person, if they feel they need it.
Right.
And whether the board feels that it's necessary.
Okay.
I think it would
Thank
be
you.
a good thing. And you're willing to,
Yeah, I'll be around. I'm not
Yeah.
leaving town, so if somebody
Okay,
needs
great.
help.
Yeah, that would be really good.
excellent.
I have one other item in new
Sure.
business. I'm wondering, I don't know if we need to do this officially or just make sure it gets done, but if we could ask Dave Kiernan to actually serve as the liaison between the Planning Commission and the Select Board. He answers to the Select Board and he's part of the Planning Commission, so that once a month, we get some idea of what's going on in the Planning Commission and anything that we need to know.
We definitely can do that.
I guess we'd have to ask him first, right?
Yeah, we would have to ask. And I think it's, I've gone to a few of the planning board meetings, and I think it would, unfortunately, I've had conflicts more times than I would have liked, but I think it's good if somebody from the select board goes to their meetings too, and just hears what's going on. And so hopefully we can continue that as well. So if Dave could come here and someone from our board could go to their meetings, and we can also stay in good communications. I think
Wasn't there a
it's
plan for him to come to one meeting a month, the Select Board meeting?
Yes, and
You know, so, and then if he's gonna be coming once a month, you know, could he, maybe during that time, he could make the report?
Yeah, I don't think it was once a month you needed to.
Well, I don't, that's what I thought I remember.
But we can make that request, yes. All right, we have some notices. We do have, Susan printed out 2 copies of ethics. This is,
The VLCT sample of the model policy, one of them I started to edit. I don't know if I ever finished it because things got a little busy, but they do kind of need to get moving on that because
Yeah.
the state law did change.
did you, Marty was kind enough to look into those. If you could maybe look through those and see
I
if we
will.
can
Yep.
merge anything or update anything, and then we can maybe get a final copy at some point and
Yeah.
implement that.
The biggest thing I think that's holding you back on just getting that going is you have to pick who's going to be your point person that gets the complaints. Now, on the list of people on the VLCT information that I saw, the only one that we have in this town that's not on the list that can be complained about, okay, so you want it to be the most neutral party, so to
Yeah.
speak, is the zoning administrator, which I did point out to Dave the other day. I said, well, maybe you could be the point person. And I think he might be willing. You would have to discuss it with him. But that was the only position that they don't have listed as being covered by this policy. So it would be the most logical one to be the point person, because they're kind of separate from it.
Okay. So he can't turn himself in then, right? All right.
But, I mean, you'd have to talk to him. I mean, he didn't say no when I pointed it out to him, so.
Also, going back to the Energy Committee, we have 2 proposals right now for the solar. We are going to turn those over. We talked to the Centerline and said if they are chosen, that we will send those proposals to them and they can use those as a guide to, as part of their project management. So Green Mountain Solar was one of the companies that has submitted a proposal, and Same Sun Solar also has a proposal in, and Power Guru out of Bennington is supposed to give us a quote. So we'll have 3 proposals to give to Centerline. We also have a notice from our law firm that covers our town, and they are pleased to announce the discounted rate of $250 an hour for our attorneys and $150 an hour for a paralegal. And is this something we have to vote on, or is that just a notice?
So I think she's just letting you know that
Yeah.
she's not going to raise the rate this year.
Yep, that's.
It's a bargain.
Yes. Also, the VLCT has a few board reorganization training on this Thursday, the 27th at 9 a.m., if anyone wants to look at that. And there's also a flyer on the Select Board training, March 22nd. Those are always good to attend if we want to stay current on the board. Let's see what else. This is the, this is the notice from Kathleen that's holding the seminar on this Thursday, the 27th at 9 a.m. And then there's a bunch of other March 27th and April 24th and so on. So I'll pass this around to the board if they want to take notes and make a date. That would be great.
I have a question.
Yep.
Last year, who was the moderator for the town meeting?
Allison,
And has anybody talked to her?
Yes,
yeah,
she's going to, we're at our,
Or no,
at the
wait,
town meeting, we have
To
to
vote, yeah.
nominate and elect her, and she may be running, I think she is running.
She's on the ballot.
She's on the
but
ballot.
that'll cover next year.
Right, so we won't have to vote her in next year if she gets elected, so.
Just wanted to check that.
Thankless,
Right now.
thankless job.
Yeah, she did a great job last year. She was good.
Yeah, and then the beauty of it is if she actually gets elected, then she will have access to the VLCT training. We tried to get her onto it this year, before town meeting, and they said because she hadn't actually been elected, we couldn't sign her up. So hopefully if she gets elected, then next year she can get the proper training through VLCT.
Nice.
Hooray for bureaucracy.
Yeah, well, they said we could get around it if she could come in and watch it with us or something, but, she has to her opinion, so that wasn't real practical for her, unfortunately.
We also fortunately have a quote for doing our town audit that desperately needs to be done. And thank you for getting that.
Thank Bruce for that.
Yeah, thank you, Bruce. You found this, so it's Fred Duplessis.
Well, Sullivan and Powers, and Fred is the fellow who sent it.
Yeah, Sullivan and Powers and Company, and they're out of Montpelier.
Yeah.
And they are, is it an estimate or a firm quote of $28,000 to do it?
Well, that's all I got, so,
Yep.
it's open to interpretation, I guess.
Well, I think we have to do it, and
I
we,
don't know if we want to see if we can negotiate anything a little better, because I asked, as I'm affiliated with school districts as well, I asked at Mill River how much theirs is, and it's 27, and that's an over $20 million budget.
well, so this is a little
So
steep.
that
It's a
seems
little steep.
Little bit high. I
More-
don't know
more than a
if
little.
there's a
And-
reason for that. It may be because it hasn't been done in so long, that may impact it too, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
So what do you recommend, every 3 years maybe?
I would say you should do at least every 3 years, because your treasurer term and clerk term is 3 years. So, I mean, you have a potential to turn over every 3 years.
mhm.
And so
Maybe.
I would think that, just good policy should be that it should be done whenever you're having a change.
Maybe,
Or potential for change. I mean, not necessarily that the person's gonna leave every 3 years, but you have that potential.
that might be a question to ask them in the future, how much it would
Pardon me?
cost if they do it every 3 years.
Right, yeah, I mean, we can try to negotiate a little bit, if, I don't know if there's any other ones in the pipeline, but that's all that's come across my desk at the moment.
I meant to ask earlier on the highway, it might have been the last meeting I wasn't at, but do we have any information on the truck that had the incident? Was it
Actually,
followed?
we don't know yet. I need to call them. I'll be doing it this week. I haven't heard from them. They were supposed to let me know.
There was some issue with the stainless body or something, wasn't last
Yeah.
time, last meeting you said?
The adjuster was coming down to go over it with the body shop manager, and I haven't heard. So I'll call them. It's been on my list, but
You've been a little busy.
Yeah, yes. All right, these warrants need to be signed. I don't know if that's,
yeah,
We signed it.
they're all done? All right, any other business? Any new business, old business, any other items? We don't need an executive session. Yes?
Just going back to the audits too, since that is a pretty steep price. I have to find it on my computer, I did go through like all the towns in Bennington County and look through their annual reports to see who did their audits.
Yep.
So I can always provide that too. I don't know if who's been called, who hasn't been called, But I mean, if towns around us are using different audit firms, I guess maybe, I don't know what the status is of calling their people, but I can always provide that if you want me to send that over to you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just the name of the audit firm and the contact info.
This firm's pretty well known for doing towns.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it was, they were covered by a couple of them in Bennington County. I think they did the audit for a few.
It is a pretty steep price, though.
Yeah.
How much is the price?
28,000?
28,000?
20,000.
It was Sunderland, Mass. that they were thinking of, not Sunderland.
That's right.
Well, it might be because of the first one, and if they do it every 3 years after, it might be less. I guess that's a question too, could be asked.
Do you know what the cost of our last one 5 or 10 years ago?
It was prior to me being
Yeah.
here, so that was 17. I mean, I would say probably at the neighborhood of 10, since that's how much had been budgeted every year since. I would assume that.
I think it was around 9, if I remember correctly.
Do you? Yeah. Yeah, this is,
Times have changed.
yes.
It's a hell of an inflation
They're
factor.
also coming from further too, further away. than
Yeah, I mean, our last firm was Cody and Love, or Love and Cody, or whatever, and that was out of Bennington,
Yeah.
so, and they don't do it anymore, so.
A lot of them actually don't. Some of the ones I talked to used to, and they don't, so.
Yeah. All right, our next meeting will be Monday, March 3rd at the annual town meeting at the elementary school. And the following day, Tuesday, the 4th, is the Australian ballot voting here at the town hall. And that is from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. The town meeting starts at 7 p.m., so for all those out there. And the next regular business meeting of the select board will be March 10th, and that's when we will select officers and reorganize.
Yes.
Is there any other business? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much.